Well, I'm excited for a lot of reasons tonight, but I want to first start by saying tonight was bigger than ourselves. And tonight was a special opportunity in today's game to play for the name on the front of the jersey in Indiana, but to really celebrate the tradition of IU women's basketball and celebrate the greatest era of IU women's basketball with the early 70 teams back in Assembly Hall. Rightfully and probably overdue. So proud that we have now raised the banner for that Final Four team, and to interact with them this weekend and hear their stories was very motivational for our team going into the game tonight, to see what they went through when basketball was just getting started here at Indiana. And playing our third game in 5 days, I think without that team and that era of players back, that we don't have the drive or the energy to get to the finish line tonight. But we kept talking that it was bigger than ourselves, and that IU women's basketball was here long before them, and it will be here long after them. And today was a special day, and all I kept on doing was, when you feel tired, think about all the women that are here today to celebrate, and all the people that will be here after you. It's bigger than ourselves. And so it was a huge win. Small steps for us. It guarantees us a minimum of a 500 season. 15 wins equals the senior classes first 2 years combined, when they won 9 and 6 games. And so, little milestones. But more importantly, we got back off the mat, and we lived in the moment, and we fought after a 15-minute stretch at Purdue where we weren't real happy with our execution, but also our fight. So for us to step back up after a really, really long 5 days and win tonight, starting 5 freshmen. Again, I don't know when, if ever, a team in the Big Ten has started 5 freshmen. To win a Big Ten game today was a big step for this program.
Kind of a two-part question. When did you make the decision to make the lineup switch, and I guess take me just through the thought process in that change?
We wanted a spark. We rewarded, we were struggling to score from the field, and we were rewarding our post-game that was contributing different ways, and felt like Jen matched up with the Hui in the post, and Lindsay Lycum had been rebounding for us and doing some things with her length defensively, and if we weren't going to score, we thought we'd give it a try. So we put them on what we call the red team yesterday in practice in our 1 day of preparation. Again, that's another thing. We won that game with 1 day of preparation. And we rolled it out there. I thought you saw a great effort by Tabitha in her limited minutes off the bench, so she handled it like a champion. I thought Sasha remained the constant captain and professional that she was, and we're happy for the freshmen and cheered them on, and both contributed when they got in. But those freshmen really battled for us tonight, all 5 in the starting lineup, and then you're always going to get fearless play out of Carly McBride.
Coach, your team has faced adversity all season. You've had some fairly close games. What makes this win stand out from the rest?
Well, it's a team that we have great respect for. They have one of the premier players in the nation. Will absolutely be on all the ballots for All-American. Maybe in discussion if they get hot and win some games as a first team, All-American. And then you got clearly one of the true low post centers. That's going to be a pleasure to watch, not coach against, but a pleasure to watch for the next 3 years. That is a very, very good team that we beat offensively. They're number 1 in the nation in 3-point field goal percentage. They're number 1 in the Big Ten in overall field goal percentage. They're a great offensive team, and for us to win with such a young team, really proud. And we just got beat by the most points in my tenure here by your arch rival. You know, like, our team has been pretty mature through our wins in non-conference to step back up, step back up. But you wonder how young teams are going to respond when they're really, you know, really beat and really beat down. And then it was by your arch rival. For them to step back up with one day shows a lot of maturity for a really young team.
Coach, how pleased were you with the way you guys seemed to contain Bonham down the stretch? I mean, she was only 8 of 17 from the field. It seemed like you guys had a pretty good job defending her.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, because we talked to the team before the game is we could play great and she could score 30 tonight. And I'm not sure we played perfect, and we didn't always play great, but we really stuck to the game plan, and she had 29. So she's just that good of a player, but we tried to make her do some things that she was uncomfortable doing. We wanted them to make baskets in overtime and not beat us at the foul line, and they only made one basket. Fortunately, we kept them off the foul line right down at the end enough because they were getting to the foul line early in that overtime. But, Taylor Agler not only scored tonight, but went to the other end and guarded one of the premier players in the country. Every single possession, she gave her heart and soul out there.
And then, Coach, just kind of the overtime in general. You guys outscored them. I think it was 13-5. You talked about your team needing to make big shots. It seemed like in that overtime period they just did. Laren hit the 3, Agler hit a 3. Can you just talk about the way they played? Yeah,
they're fearless. We got 45 points from our starting 1-2 freshman backcourt in a Big Ten game. 45 points from freshmen. They played fearlessly. They hit shots when they needed to, and didn't pout today when shots didn't go in. We weren't perfect. I nearly undressed on the sideline after missing one layup. So, we weren't perfect tonight, but they just kept fighting and scratching and clawing. And I just think overall we were a little bit hungrier, down the stretch. And again, that's back-to-back crowds over 4,000. I think we can do that every night here. And we didn't reward the crowd against Ohio State, but that's back-to-back crowds over 4,000, and something's really special growing and brewing in there. And they were a big contributor when you're tired to give you that one more boost of energy. And so hats off to the crowd. Man, I hope we're winning over some of these fans in town because they're great, educated fans. And if they come out, this team's going to give them their money's worth. I think they got their dollar's worth tonight. I hope they did.
Kind of with that lineup again, you talked about how Lindsay played more, but with Tabitha and Sasha playing 6 and 8 minutes, did some of that have to do with the schedule?
Some of that has to do with the schedule. Some of it's coach's decision. I need to play Tabitha more. She deserves to play more. She's reliable. She played well tonight. Lindsay is a little bit longer defensively. And so we rolled the dice. And Lindsay made a couple threes, so we rolled the dice that maybe she'd throw in a big 3 for us. But Tabitha made her big 3. So tonight we got 3s from our 4 position. And when we do that, our offense works a lot better. And that's why a stretch 4, as we call it, is really important in the way we play.
You mentioned the team was playing a little bit hungrier down the stretch. During that time, it looked like Simone she gave you a lot of good offensive boards. Can you just talk about the contribution she gave you late in the game? She's
our best rebounding post. She's most physical post. She fouls the most of our posts. But it all goes around. It all correlates. And she got her hands on balls and kept extra possessions. And that was a big deal in overtime, got extra possession. She got an offensive rebound in regulation. Maybe should have put it back up and in for the game winner. And so, she wasn't perfect defensively, but I have faith in her that she plays hard and she's physical. She plays with probably the most passion and energy of our post game. And so I trust her in those moments because she brings us energy.
Coach, it wasn't just the starting backcourt that gave you significant contributions. It seemed like all 6 freshmen played really well. What can you say about what they brought to the team tonight?
They're growing, they're learning, and again, they're going to play hard, and that's why we brought them here. You know, like, I don't know if they're going to be starters 2, 3, 4, you know, in their 4th year here. We're going to continue to recruit like crazy. But we brought them here because they were winners, they were competitors, and they were great character kids. And we were going to build it in that locker room. But that whole locker room is bought in. I mean, Nicole Bell is a great player. She gave us good minutes tonight. She played hard, gave us good minutes. You know, our kids gave us good minutes in short bursts. Drea Mize, as a walk-on, went in tonight when we were tired in the first half and defended her butt off. And so, you know, you just never know when your number's going to be called. You win and lose as a team. And tonight they are rewarded for, you know, winning as a team. Now their reward is another week of 2 road games. I mean, it's not easy. These are student athletes that have 4 road games in the first 2 weeks of classes this semester. I pray that their professors will work with them, because it's not the easiest thing that happened to these guys. But we'll be back after it now, because we have a really tough road week ahead of us.
What does preparation look like in a week like this with, you know, road games against a team like Penn State? I mean, do you give them days off, or how do you sort of schedule the time?
Well, if you don't take days off, the NCAA mandates that you have to take 2 days off the week prior, the 2 days off the week after. Our dilemma is do we prepare for one of these road games with 1 day prep and give them a day off? Or do we practice all the days that possible, and we do something all 7 days this week and take 2 days off next week? And we have to decide that on how they feel and how they bounce back from 3 games in 5 days. And the brain trust that's much smarter than I am, the assistants that have a pulse on that, we'll get together and we'll figure that out here soon.
We good? Thanks, guys.
Thank you.